The watermark has been removed today. There is no watermark. It is unbelievable. I have no idea how life will ever be the same after the update that we have received to the game today. I think that I could safely say Football Manager 2026 or Football Manager 26 or whatever they want to call it is the greatest game ever played, ever made, ever conceived. Or Sports Interactive decided to not update the game. Which one do you think happened, chat? Which one do you think happened? No update on release day. None. Now, there are potential logistical reasons for this. There are potential logistical reasons for this. It is impossible, chat. I had an update, the interface. Well, I mean, they said there was no update, chat. Was there an update today? Let me go look at their page. I mean, they themselves said there wasn't an update, so I can't imagine why they would say that and then do an update. I think there was like a thing you downloaded. You had to download something because it had to change the version of the game and remove the watermark. Take a look at the Steam reviews. Mostly negative. Oh, they're getting cooked, bro. They're getting cooked. They are getting cooked. I know. I don't know why the download was 1.2 gigs, dude. I have no idea. They're getting cooked. They're getting barbecued. They're getting fried. No, I am... Okay. Here's the thing. We talk about, like, I'm gonna mute the music for the people on Twitch. We talk about institutional failure. Like, when an institution just fails to achieve what should be the bare minimum of what they're supposed to do. Like, when you say a game's gonna come out, it comes out on that day, for example. Right? When you make the decision to switch engines, you have thought out the process to an extent, you don't end up accidentally missing a year, right? I've talked about this in all the videos that we did about Football Manager 25 getting canceled and how it was just a failure. It was an institutional top-down failure. Just doing a job that you get paid to do and not doing it. The latest example of an institutional failure within Sports Interactive is that they were somehow not able to, right? I don't care what logistical challenges there are, right? And they mentioned some of the logistical challenges in trying to get an update. The whole point, the only thing that was saving you from getting broadsided by everybody is that the beta is the beta and that there is going to be a significant patch when the actual game comes out. And then to just not do it is... It is an institutional failure. It is another example of them just not being able to execute on what they're supposed to execute on, right? I'm not even talking about the quality of the game, which has improved with the hotfixes that they've released, right? I'm not even talking about that. We're not even having that conversation, all right? I am talking about, like, just the institutional failure of... When the full game release, the whole point of the beta is that once the beta is over, there's a big update. That's the only reason to do the beta. But instead, the beta comes out and they freak out and release a bunch of hotfixes, and now they can't get the update to all the platforms at the same time. It's an institutional failure. It's the latest in a string of institutional failures that have to do with the game over the last 2 years. Just like an example where you don't need any context. You can make a definitive statement. Those are kind of rare because context is usually very valid. It's a rare situation where you don't need any context. You just can look at the situation and go, that should never happen no matter what happens, but it did happen. Like them having to cancel the game, there was nothing that forced them to switch to Unity in that year. They decided they could do it in that year. Bad decision. Institutional failure. We're going to release the beta and we're going to announce the release date on this. They could have announced a release date on November 19th if they wanted to. Nobody was standing in the office, gun to temple, like, hey, dude, November 4th or else. Unless it was Sega. But I don't know. I don't know why Sega would be like, yo, November 4th instead of November 19th. They've released a game on November 19th before. It's not like there is an issue with releasing the game later in November if they felt like for some reason it wasn't going to be ready. They released the beta late. It felt like they were kind of forced to release the beta by the community. Now, they just did it again. I mean, it's like they got a Tommy gun pointed at their foot, and they're just like, doo, 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 doo. They can't stop shooting themselves in the foot. These are avoidable misses. And yet it's the same thing as everybody else. We're going to release the game on Tuesday. We didn't end up having an update ready for Tuesday. You got to know. You have to be able to execute this sort of thing. You have to. Then they have, in the past, been able to do it. But something about the Unity engine has just scrambled SI to not being a great game studio, which SI objectively was for a long time. It moved slow. Its development process wasn't exactly modern, but it made a great game. And it delivered, when it had its weird timelines or whatever, it delivered. In fact, one of Sports Interactive's biggest tenets that they always said was like, we're not going to announce something until we're absolutely sure, right? Miles would always pretend that, we haven't even said that we're releasing a game next year. Even though everybody and their mother knew that they were working on the next Football Manager, they wouldn't even say that the game was being released next year. And now all of a sudden they can't stick the landing on a promise to save their lives. No, okay. Am I an aggressive detractor of the game? No. I mean, you can watch the video where I answer the Reddit questions. I think the whole game this year is a beta. I think it's undercooked. It's clearly not finished, but I love the potential of the game in Unity if they can just get out of their own way. What I'm talking about right now is the fact that it is full release day. I am sitting here playing the exact same version of the game according to SI, playing the exact same version of the game that I was playing yesterday when I was playing the beta. That's what I'm talking about. We're not even talking about the level of the game, which I know some people absolutely hate. I give it like a 5 out of 10. I've had fun playing it, but it is obviously unfinished. It's obviously undercooked. And now they're showing that the problems within the studio have not been fixed yet. The issues with saying you're going to do something, setting an expectation, and then somehow not knowing what it's going to take to get there continue to exist. So like on the same day that, EU5 releases, right? Europa Universalis, which we were playing yesterday. EU5 releases. Full release. They didn't do a beta, but the game comes out. You have Football Manager releasing on the same day. What would be the reason, if you like both of those games, that you would go play Football Manager? Because it's the same damn game that you were playing the last 3 or 4 days if you were playing it. There isn't anything, like it is officially the launch day. The game is out. Everybody can play it. But what is pulling you into the launch day? Nothing. And now we'll talk about the quality of the game a little bit. I try to be incredibly objective, generally respectful. And I sat there in front of a frothing-mouthed mob of people and said, look, the game's rough, but it's a beta. And when the full game comes out, then we can judge it. I'm judging the hot-fixed beta right now. Now I'm judging the hot-fixed beta. That's what I have to judge. Like if I'm sitting there saying, look, it's the beta, but there's going to be a probably significant update, right? They always save stuff for an update that then gets pushed out when the full game is released. They didn't do it. Or at least they didn't have the logistical skill to be able to do it so that every platform could get the update at the same time, which I'm sure they're contractually obligated to do. I think if there was any reason for me to give a negative review, it would be that. It's just like you've got the Emperor has no clothes. The Emperor has no clothes here. The Emperor just, no clothes. Nobody's wearing any clothes.
I think there's so much potential, but I worry with all this justified backlash they won't reach it.
They're going to sit, they sit there and they talk about how they're not going to release a game.
What happened?
Right, because that people are going to spend their hard-earned money on that's not good. Or let's just use the word finished, because this game's not finished. They released it anyways because of the financial pressure, because they messed it up again. And that makes them no better than anybody else. They try to pretend that they are. The only thing separating them now is the microtransactions. They don't do that. They sell you the in-game editor for $9 now. I just bought it. But the Emperor has no clothes. They could have stuck the landing here. You do the Miles interview tour, you do all those different press announcements about, like, we didn't want to announce that the game was coming out until we knew we had a game. We have this and this and this and this, right? Didn't you give it a 9 out of 10? I was playing an alpha. The difference between an alpha and the game is great. I played an alpha version for like 90 minutes. And then there was, it goes into the beta and there's a couple of hot fixes. But basically, the alpha version I was playing felt like the beta version that I was playing. And the hotfixes have made the game run smoother, but I've already installed some dang mods, dude. Yeah, I mean, the rating of an alpha version is going to be a hell of a lot different than the rating on release day of what the game is supposed to look like, what you're willing to tolerate. And I'll be the first to admit that when I cracked open the alpha version and I saw this sparkly new UI and I went into the match and saw dribble moves and stuff, I had rose-colored glasses on because all of that stuff looked real cool. But you play the game for 5 or 10 hours, and then you find the pages that don't make sense. You find the pages that make you not want to do training, not want to scout. You know what I'm saying? The more you play the game, the more you find that stuff. And the alpha I started to save with, Manchester United? Set it up and played like 2 matches. Not really trying to, we went and signed 1 or 2 players just for the memes, right? But we didn't do anything. Ever rate an alpha? No, I got no problem with rating an alpha. The game has potential. It's just not there yet, man. It is not there yet. And SI has, in an effort to unscrew their reputation, I think they've actually damaged it more with the way that they've done this rollout. And now, really, for the first time, Sports Interactive we're going to figure out how they respond to massive criticism. Because Sports Interactive, I mean, every gaming company gets criticism. They have never gotten massive criticism. This is massive criticism. And we will see how they respond to that. I don't know. I have no idea. How do you think they'll respond? I don't think they're going to respond particularly well. I have personal experience interacting with Sports Interactive while they're responding to crisis, to perceived crisis, which will be one YouTuber making a video about them lying about one feature, which, to be perfectly honest, was a very small feature that I just happened to be very excited about. And the way they responded to that was catastrophic. SI isn't responding? That's a solid response. The best response is to do better. The best response is to continue to patch the hell out of this game because we are basically going to be playing a beta game all year. That's the best response. Do you think review bombing will hurt the sales a lot? I think a lot of people are going to buy the game. It's time Mr. Miles Jacobson sack. Look, the guy's capable of making a great game. I'm not in charge of Sega. I don't make those decisions, and I'm not going to be somebody that whips up a bunch of pitchforks to go after somebody. But it ain't a good look either, right? Yeah, getting bad Steam reviews is a huge deal because there's a lot of people that will find, I think about how many people get into Football Manager every year. Well, now there are going to be a lot less people getting into Football Manager this year. If you see these reviews, why would you ever buy the game? I can't play this on console. The UI is terrible. Bro, they built it for console. That's crazy, Bomber. Yeah, I mean, this is, in my memory as a creator, the first real failed launch. It's just kind of a failed launch. And you know what? That doesn't mean the game is dead. They've got a lot of time to try and build it. But right now, it's flopped on arrival in terms of the reviews and the reaction and whatever. Regicide, thank you for the 15 months. SI promised to remove the beta tag today, and honestly, they did it beautifully. Can't find it anywhere. True. Reviews and rating are disabled on Xbox. I mean, I would hesitate to accuse them of anything there. I don't really know what's going on, but it's flopped with 83,000 players playing right now. I mean, look, Football Manager was hoping that when this game came out, everybody was going to go nuts and love it. That just didn't happen. Now, there are like over 10 million people that played Football Manager 24. So there's going to be a solid number of people, me included, that are going to fire up Football Manager anyways. Football Manager could give me a pile of crap for years, and I would probably still play it a lot. Not as much as I would if it was great, but I would probably still play it a lot. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of people playing Football Manager, particularly today, because today is the day that they, you know, it was in all the media and all the announcements. The game was coming out. This is your chance to give it a go. But I think my biggest qualm, which is what I was kind of ranting about, my biggest qualm with everything is the fact that they really just failed to deliver in getting an update out when the game was released. And that is not an issue in a vacuum as much as it is a recurring issue for them, that for whatever reason in Unity, they cannot project how long it's going to take them to do things and consistently fail to deliver when they say they're going to deliver. They choose the deadline and then miss it anyways. Did they say when the patch would come? They said tomorrow it will be available in the beta testing branch. I don't really know what that means. I don't know how far away that means. 2 weeks ago, there were 70,000 people playing FM24. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, they did a solid job of hot fixing the beta. Reviews are down to 995. They were over 1,600 within the past hour. Any comments on SI seemingly deleting a ton of negative reviews? I saw somebody earlier say that your review disappears if you refund the game. I don't know if that's true, but that's the only thing I can offer you. Does anybody know if that's true? Yeah, I would be very surprised if Sports Interactive could delete Steam reviews also. Totally separate note, I don't think it's them deleting it at all. I'm very clear. I don't think Sports Interactive has deleted a single review. I don't think they can. Steam can hold them if they suspect review bombing. I think playing 50 hours means it's playable. I mean, you're saying 90% of people say it's unplayable have played over 50 hours. I think playing 50 hours means it's playable. I understand the argument, right? I really do. I really do understand that. Football Manager is a game you got to play for a long time, right? And it is a game that people invest a lot of hours in. I think that the scale is different. Like, obviously, you play a story game or something, maybe you play it for 75 hours total. But Football Manager is an open world sandbox. It's Minecraft and soccer. But I think, like, yeah, you played 50 hours, you could make the argument, well, you got your money's worth. You played $1 per hour. But I think that if somebody has like 1K hours and they leave one of those reviews where like, this latest update sucks and I'm giving it a negative review, obviously they still love the game. I think 50 hours is a Football Manager's good, honest go at it, right? I think you probably trust them more than somebody that has 2 hours to know that the game is not what they were looking for. But I understand what you're saying. I don't think they're Steam admins or something. That's not outside. Yeah. I think it's probably people refunding the game and some reviews are getting auto-modded or something, right? I remember that happened on when Sports Interactive replied to my YouTube video about them lying about the dynamic youth rating, right? Their comment got removed by YouTube auto-mod because a bunch of people downvoted it. And then people got mad at me because they thought that I deleted the comment, and I had to go find it in my my held comment section and release it because it was being held behind this kind of wall, you know?